everyone, my name is Sky, and today I'm going to talk about the Ren Fair because I went to it recently. So I dressed up for the Ren Fair. I looked like, the best way I can explain it is I looked like I came straight out of a Japanese horror. Like, I had a long black tiered dress with like a flowy top that had red flowers on vines. Very, very pretty. And I had a parasol too. I looked great. And everyone was ready and we go, but we're running a little bit late just cuz Mom woke up late. And I also kind of woke up late, which just culminated in us being a little bit late. But we started off and we went and we were walking around. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go walk around by myself. So I checked my phone because I recently put my service in, had to refill my service. And I noticed I have no signal. And so I tried to give myself a quick text as a test, and it doesn't work. So I tell my big sister this, and she's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense since we're out in the middle of kind of nowhere that you wouldn't have signal. Just means that we either need to have a landmark that we can all go to, or that we just need to all stick together. And I was like, well, it might be easier just to all stick together because I might forget the landmark. So we're kind of sticking together. At some point, Mom was looking at corsets, and me and big sister were like, okay, well, while Mom's doing that, one of the places we really wanted to visit during this Ren Fair was to go and get creme brulee from this place. And they have this little dragon, and the dragon flamethrower crystallizes the sugar on top. It's really adorable. We love it so much. And you get complimentary spoons that are very pretty as well. And Mom had researched it and learned that they had, because they were so popular, they had separated the creme brulee and their drinks to one side and then their main food stuff to another side, which was really cool and really cool for them. So me and big sister went over and we found that. We also found this beautiful jewelry store, and we were looking at all the different things, and we end up finding Mom again. After a bit, we found her in a different shop than she was originally in, but still relatively close. And we're like, yeah, so we got creme brulee. And Mom's like, okay, that sounds good. I need to sit down anyway, so let us go grab the creme brulee. And so we go to grab creme brulee, we eat it. We also get a magic lavender drink, lavender lemonade drink, which was interesting. Creme brulee, wonderful, was delicious. All of us loved it. We all have different spoons. I got a black one. My big sister got a gold one. And then Mom got a rose gold spoon. They look very pretty. And then we tried the lavender lemonade. None of us liked it. Unfortunately, it just tasted of lavender. There was no lemonade to be tasted, which I had told my sister when we were going to go get it that I worried that it'd either be just lemonade and you couldn't taste any lavender, or if just lavender, you couldn't taste any lemonade. I was correct. It's just lavender. But Mom didn't want to waste it, so she ended up drinking it in little sips because she was the only one that could really stomach it. And we walked around a bit more. We got a couple things. We got some personal things, so I'm not going to talk about them. But then we were going to go to a show, so we go over to walk to the show, and, Mom's sitting down, and I'm like, oh, well, I would really go for, an actual drink. So we go get some lemonade, and by this time, I had seen some people walking around with bottled lemonade, like Minute Maid. So we go to, the main drink thing. Tell me why the main drink thing didn't have any bottled lemonade. They had Coca-Cola, they had Sprite, they had frozen lemonade, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take the frozen lemonade. It's cold. I didn't want to deal with the soda bubbles. So we got the frozen lemonade, and we happened to be by the roasted corn. And if there's one thing you need to know about my Southern family, we love our roasted corn. It is a staple to get. We all love it. So we got that. We ate it. It was very yummy. It was very good. We went to the place where the guy would be performing his show. We all sat down, and by this time, I was getting a little overwhelmed because it was super crowded. And while it's usually crowded, it's usually not this crowded. So, it was a little there. But it was super loud as well. And I thought I'd be fine, but as we were walking, I kid you not, there were people that were running into me and running into my parasol. I was trying so hard not to make sure I didn't hit anyone, and one person literally knocked into my parasol, didn't even turn around to ask, oh, are you okay? And just kept walking when I had turned to see if they were okay. I was like, what the hell? I was so confused. Later when I was talking to Mom about it, she was like, yeah, I noticed that too. It seemed like there were a lot more rude people this year for some reason. So that was weird. That was very weird. But with all of that, I was just a little too overwhelmed, and I just needed to be in a little bubble for a bit. So my big sister lets me lean on her, and she's holding... Mom has a sun umbrella, so we're all three of us are under the sun umbrella because it's really hot and I am melting in my black outfit. And by this point, I hadn't expected to be as loud as it was, but I had been worried that it would be, so I had brought with us my headphones, but I left them in the car. Along with a stuffed animal in case I need something to ground myself. So, as we're waiting for the guy's show to begin, I asked my big sister, like, oh, if we're going to stay a bit after this, can we go to the car real quickly so I can grab my stuffed animal and my headphones? And she's like, well, we might not stay. And I was like, oh? She's like, yeah, it depends on what, if Mom's feeling up to it after this. Because Mom is super tired. Mom can't really stomach walking anymore. Her legs are hurting too badly. So we're sitting there waiting for the show to begin, and we're, I'm kind of hoping that it gets better after the show, but also kind of hoping that we can just go home, because I'm very overwhelmed. So the guy comes out, and he's like, yeah, welcome to the show. And I kid you not, this man pulls out a whip. This show is not about whips. This is a magic show. He pulled out a whip and started whipping it to gain the attention of passerbyers. Which, don't get me wrong. Okay, fair enough that you want to get their attention. But for someone who is overwhelmed by the loud noises already, to hear a whip cracking, just... My big sister literally put her hands over my ears because I physically flinched when I heard that whip go off. It was not good. It was not good. But he did that, and then his show began, and it was an okay show. There were some parts that were just uncomfortable. And then there were other parts that were like, okay, that was kind of funny. And then there were parts where it was like, okay, that could have been funny, but the way you did it wasn't funny. And I'm not going to describe the act or any of the shows because privacy, and also I don't want people going over and being like, your show sucked, you know? So, not gonna go over his show. But yeah, so after that, we all head home. Because we were done. And we took the drive back home, and I passed out almost immediately afterwards. And then life went on. And then I felt sick. So congrats. It took me a while. I tried several times to record this video because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. Because based on everything I've said, there wasn't a lot to talk about at the Ren Fair. We didn't really do anything, which isn't a bad thing. It just makes it hard to make a video on it. And when I was feeling really bad, it was mentally messing me up as well. Because I had seen something that just made me be like, oh, no, I need interesting stories and stuff. But honestly, no. That's not my content. This is my content. I talk about things that happen. I talk about some funny things. I talk about the mundane things. So, if that's not for you, okay? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this mundane retelling of everything that went on the Ren Fair. I hope you have a wonderful day. And goodbye.